Hello all, welcome to another quick learning. Today I'm going to be going over how to do a bar chart in Excel. So I've got data here, I've got two different dimensions or features, whatever you want to call them. I've got segment and I've got category, and then I have one measure called sales. So what I want to do is I want to create a bar chart for both of these categories over the sales, either a clustered or stacked bar chart format. So if all I wanted to do was one dimension, that's actually very easy. I just select the data, I go to insert, I select bar, select whatever my preference is and how it's going to be displayed, and there you can see I've got my chart. But if I want to do more than one dimension, like two, I'm going to have to do something a little bit differently. So I'm going to have to pivot this data so it's in a usable format. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this, paste that here, and then I'm going to go to data, remove duplicates, and I'm going to remove the duplicates. So now I have the three unique values that come from that column. And I'm going to do the same thing for category. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to select this, remove duplicates. I'm going to continue with the current selection. I just want this one column. And there I've got the three duplicates. And I actually want this in this top row here. So I'm going to copy this, go to home, paste, and then transpose. So transpose just moves it to a row or to a column, just switching it from whatever you have originally. All right, so now I'm going to do a sum if to fill in the sales data for this 2x2 matrix here, 3x3 matrix, sorry. So we're going to do some ifs because I have two criteria that I have to meet. So the sum range, I'm going to select this whole column and I'm going to lock it into place. I'm doing that because I want to make this dynamic, so if I delete this data and paste in new data and it has more or less rows in it, it's still going to work. The criteria range, so I'm going to select the segment here, press F4 to lock that, and the criteria 1 is going to be, so I'm looking at segment, and here's my segments, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to hit F4 until I got it locked into this column of F here. You can see the dollar sign is before the F. Criteria 2, now we're looking at category, so I'm going to lock that with F4 again, and then I'm going to choose here furniture because this is the categories that we're looking at. And then I'm going to hit F4 until the dollar sign is in front of the 1, telling me that it's locked to this row. And then that's all I need. And then if I drag it over, drag it down, we filled that table there. So you can see, you can check your work. For consumer furniture, this is the sales. And in fact, if I add another row, it'll automatically update the data. So if I put in 100,000 in another row, you can see it's added these two values and now put it there. Let's go ahead and take that out. So I've got my data table set up now. Now I can go in, select this data, go to, insert, bar, let's start with a clustered one. So there we go. So now you can see we've got the different categories here. So technology, office supplies, furniture, and the different segments in the different colors clustered together. So this is a clustered bar chart. Now if I want to switch those two, I just hit the switch row column, and now I've got the segments here and then the different categories in the colors. Right, so simple enough. We also have some options, so you can select the style here. If you want a different style, you want black and white or something, they have a bunch of different styles you can choose from. The layout, so if I want to give this a chart title, which is probably a good idea, put it above the chart, let's say awesome sales chart, and then click back in this. So you have to be in, have this selected in order to get these options up here. So axis titles, so the horizontal axis, that's this x-axis here. I can put a label for that. We'll call that sales because that's the sales here. And then I can also put one for the vertical axis. This is the y-axis here. We'll put a vertical one, and we'll say this is the segment. Some other options you have, you can take out the legend, but I think it's critical in this case to see it. You can change where the legend is. You can show it on top. You can, show it in the left, etc., etc. Top actually looks pretty nice. Data labels. So if you want to also label the data, so people can easily identify what the values are, you can do that. You can also put a data table below the data by selecting that option. If we resize this, it'll look a little better. There we go. So if you want to get rid of the data labels and just show the table, which people can reference, that's also an option. If you don't like these grid lines, you can turn those off. So that would be the vertical grid lines here, go none. You can also change the plot area, etc. So those are kind of your options. And then the other thing you can do is create a stacked bar chart instead of this clustered one. So if we want to do that, we can go back to, let's create it again. Let's delete this and create a new one. So we'll go insert. Instead of choosing this clustered one, we're going to choose the stacked bar. There's also a stacked bar 100%. I'll show you what that does. So you can see the stacked bar, instead of being clustered together, they're stacked on top of each other, so you can see in total what the value is, instead of seeing each individual value separately. Now I said I would show you what the other one looked like. So if we do the 100% one instead, let's go back to bar and do this stacked 100%, you'll see they're all put to the 100th percentile, and you can see what the mix is of the different, in this case it's segments. So you can see between them, the mixes are pretty similar. The blue bars and the red bars and the green bars are roughly the same. So underneath it all, they have about the same percentages of these different consumer, corporate, and home office. So that's how you would create a bar chart in Excel. Hope you guys were able to follow along with that, and hopefully you learned something. Thank you very much.